I'm going to make some little sleeves, and I'm going to start with a chain that goes from shoulder to shoulder. So I don't know how many stitches it's going to be. I'm just going to keep measuring it as I add stitches. All right, this is a good chain. I don't know how many stitches I have, but I know I'm going to do this whole thing in double crochets. So my first stitch is going to be 1, 2, 3. That is your first double crochet. So in number 4, chain number 4, I'm going to work a double crochet. But instead of working it in that top loop, I'm going to work all of my stitches in the back loops. So if you look at this little V, this is your top stitch, this is your bottom stitch. If you turn it over, those back bumps are the bumps I'm going to work into. So 1, 2, 3, that's my first double crochet, and then I'm going to work into this back bump. It takes a minute, I can't see right now. Okay. I'm going to do a double crochet in every back bump down my row. And by doing it in the back bump on a chain, you have those pretty V's along both sides of your work. And I just like the way that looks. All right, so once I got to the end of my row, I'm going to chain 3 and turn my work. And because that chain 3 is counting as our first stitch, we're not going to work in to this first space right here. We're going to pretend like this chain belongs in that space. It's coming up out of that space. So in the next space, I'm going to do a double crochet. And I'm going to do this all the way down. Okay, when I get to my last stitch, I'm going to change colors here. So I did 3 rows of this blue. I'm going to start my double crochet and I'm going to stop right there. So I'm only going to pull through the first time. And now I'm going to snip my yarn pretty close to the hook, sorry. And then I'm going to pull that stitch out. So I'm going to tie a knot in the white yarn around the blue strand. And then I'm going to tie a knot in the blue around the white. And when I do this, I try to pull my knot as close to the end as I can get. And then pull your knots together. And then get your scissors and snip off these little tails. And now go back and finish your last double crochet. I always play with it some because you can see the knot there, but if you pull these stitches over it, it kind of disappears. You just have to play with it a little bit. And then chain your 3, turn your work, and repeat the double crochet row. Okay, this is where I'm going to start my shoulder row and my neck hole. I just kind of eyeball how big I want my neck hole to be. And I'll just start counting from one side. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And then I'll go to the other side and do the same thing. And I'm going to look at these spaces between where I've counted and see if I like this size for my head to go through. And I do. Okay, so I'm just kind of making a big enough gap here. So we have 12 and 12 over here. Count how many stitches you have between. 22. All right, so I'm going to do 12 double crochets and stop here. And then I'm going to do a chain of 22 all the way over to this side. And then I'm going to do 12 double crochets down here to the end. Okay, so I have my 12 stitches here. And I just try to keep my numbers in my head. So 12, 22, 12. So now I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. All right, so there we are. We're also going to ignore whatever this, some kind of knot there. Just ignore it. All right, so I'm going to skip all 22 of those. And then I'm going to go back in here, and you might want to use a stitch marker, but I just kind of make a hole with my fingers. Go back in here and do your last 2 double crochet, or last 12. Okay, so shoulder, neck hole, shoulder. I'm going to chain my work, and I'm going to do double crochets all the way down this row, working into every stitch. Okay, and that's what it looks like once you have your double crochet row. So shoulder, neck, shoulder. And that is going to be big enough for me to get my head in. And now I'm going to go back and repeat this pattern. So I did 3 rows of the blue, 1 of the white, 2 of the multicolored. 3 rows of the blue. Now I'm going to go 2 of the multicolored, 1 of the white, and 3 of the blue. Okay, this is super mini. So when you fold it in half, there's your neck hole. Here's your shoulders. This is definitely not going to fit around my arms, under my armpits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a chain that goes from this corner to this corner. So I'm making this armhole as big as I need it to fit me. So we're going to have to make a chain, attach it, try it on, and see if it, see if it's the right size for me. I can make a really big armhole if I want, or I can make it more fitted. It all depends on how many chains I'm going to place right here. Okay, so I made 12 stitches from the front to the back because my arm fits in this. Now I'm going to reattach my yarn, and I'm going to put 1 double crochet in each of these 12 stitches. We're going to start working around the post. So work 2 double crochets around each end of the row. So I'm just going to start working around the last stitch in your row with 2 double crochets. I'm going to do that all the way around. Attach my yarn with a slip stitch to that chain, and then I'm going to chain 3 and then work my double crochet. So those are my first 2 double crochets in that first stitch, and do that all the way around. Okay, so I got around the sleeve. I'm going to slip stitch into that chain 3, and that row is done. So this is what it looks like. There's your shoulder, here's your armhole, and just keep working in the round until your sleeve is as long as you want it. All right, so here are the little sleeves.